Imagine you're sitting alone in your living room, the phone ringing in the distance, but you let it go to voicemail. The invitation to a friend's gathering sits unopened on your counter, and you feel a quiet relief at the thought of staying home. Why is it that as we age, the urge to pull away from people grows stronger? It's not just you, it's a secret shift that creeps into your mind, one the world doesn't talk about, one you were never meant to notice. I'm here to pull you into the truth, to uncover 6 psychological reasons why you might be avoiding people more as you get older. These aren't just theories, they're the hidden forces shaping your choices, your heart, your life. I've spent years studying the mind, counseling seniors, and seeing this pattern unfold. This isn't about blame or shame, it's about awakening to what's happening inside you, so you can decide what comes next. You're not alone in this, but you deserve to know why it's happening and what it means for your future. So, come down this rabbit hole with me, and let's uncover the truths they don't tell you. Oh, and before we dive deeper, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment below. Let me know you're ready to face these hidden truths. The first reason you're avoiding people more is the weight of emotional fatigue. As you age, you've lived through decades of relationships, some beautiful, some painful, many exhausting. Every friendship, every family tie, every casual chat carries a history. You've poured your heart into conversations, resolved conflicts, mourned losses, and celebrated joys. But over time, that emotional labor adds up. By the time you're 50, 60, or beyond, your heart might feel like it's carrying a lifetime of baggage. I had a patient, Linda, 68, who used to be the life of every party. She'd organize dinners, call friends, plan outings. But when I met her, she was turning down invitations, staying home, and she couldn't explain why. We dug deeper and found she was tired, not physically, but emotionally. She'd spent years being the glue for her family, the listener for her friends, and it left her drained. The psychological truth is that as we age, our emotional reserves shrink. You start to guard your energy, choosing solitude over interactions that might demand more than you can give. It's not that you don't care, it's that you've cared so much for so long, and your mind is quietly begging for a break. The world doesn't tell you this. They call it being antisocial or withdrawing, but it's your mind protecting itself. You deserve to know that this isn't a flaw, it's a signal to rethink how you spend your emotional energy. The second reason is a shift in your sense of identity. When you were younger, you were defined by your roles: parent, spouse, worker, friend. Socializing was part of the job, whether it was networking at work or hosting playdates. But as you age, those roles fade. You retire, your kids move out, your social circles shrink. Suddenly, you're faced with a question: who are you when the world no longer needs you to play those parts? This shift can feel like a quiet earthquake in your mind. I remember John, 72, who told me he stopped going to his old golf club because he didn't know how to talk to people anymore. He wasn't John the accountant or John the dad now, he was just John, and that felt raw, exposed. The psychological truth is that aging strips away external identities, leaving you to rebuild who you are. Socializing can feel daunting because it forces you to face that uncertainty. You might avoid people not because you dislike them, but because you're still figuring out who you're bringing to the table. The world doesn't prepare you for this. They push active aging and social clubs, but they don't tell you how hard it is to show up as a new version of yourself. You're not alone in this struggle, and it's okay to take time to rediscover who you are. The third reason is the fear of rejection, which grows sharper with age. Every year you live, you collect more moments of loss: friends who drift away, loved ones who pass, relationships that fade. Those experiences leave scars, and they make you wary of reaching out. After 50, you're more aware of how fragile connections can be, and the thought of being ignored, dismissed, or misunderstood stings more than it used to. I saw this in Margaret, 65, who stopped calling her old friends because she worried they didn't want to hear from her anymore. She'd been hurt before: friends who didn't return calls, family who seemed too busy, and that fear built a wall around her. The psychological truth is that aging heightens your sensitivity to rejection. Your brain, wired to protect you, starts to see social risks as bigger than social rewards. So, you pull back, choosing the safety of solitude over the chance of feeling unwanted. Nobody talks about this. They tell you to stay connected, but they don't warn you how much courage it takes to keep reaching out. You deserve to know that this fear is normal, but it doesn't have to define your relationships. The fourth reason is cognitive overload. As you age, your brain doesn't process social information as easily as it once did. Conversations that used to feel effortless, tracking multiple voices, remembering names, picking up on cues, can start to feel like a mental marathon. This isn't about dementia or decline, it's about the natural changes in your brain's bandwidth. After 60, your cognitive resources are more selective, prioritizing what feels essential. I had a patient, Robert, 70, who loved his book club but started skipping meetings because he found the lively debates overwhelming. He wasn't less sharp, he was just more sensitive to the mental effort of keeping up. The psychological truth is that social interactions demand more cognitive energy as you age, and your brain might steer you toward quieter, less demanding settings to conserve that energy. The world doesn't acknowledge this. They push group activities and social calendars, but they don't tell you it's okay to feel overwhelmed. You're not failing when you crave solitude, your mind is just being strategic. Understanding this can help you choose social moments that feel manageable, not draining. The fifth reason is the growing value of authenticity. As you age, you become less tolerant of superficial connections. You've lived long enough to know what matters: real conversations, genuine bonds, people who see you for you. But finding those connections in a world of small talk and casual acquaintances can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. I met Susan, 80, who stopped going to her community center's coffee mornings because she felt like she was playing a role, nodding through shallow chats about the weather. She craved depth, talks about life, loss, love, but found most interactions lacked it. The psychological truth is that aging sharpens your need for authenticity, and when social settings don't deliver, you'd rather stay home than fake it. The world doesn't highlight this. They sell community as a cure-all, but they don't tell you how hard it is to find people who truly get you. You're not withdrawing because you're cold. You're protecting your heart from connections that don't feel real. You deserve relationships that light you up, not ones that leave you empty. The sixth reason is the quiet pull of self-reflection. As you age, you're drawn inward, toward making sense of your life story. This isn't about being selfish, it's about processing decades of experiences, joys, and regrets. Socializing can feel like a distraction from this inner work, especially when it's loud or demanding. I saw this in David, 75, who started spending more time alone, journaling about his life, his kids, his dreams. He wasn't avoiding people, he was seeking clarity, a way to understand who he'd been and who he still wanted to be. The psychological truth is that aging sparks a natural turn toward introspection, and that can make solitude more appealing than social noise. The world doesn't celebrate this. They push staying active as the only path to a good life, but they don't honor the power of looking inward. You're not isolating yourself. You're exploring the richest terrain of all, your own mind. Knowing this can help you balance quiet reflection with meaningful connections, so you don't lose either. These 6 reasons: emotional fatigue, shifting identity, fear of rejection, cognitive overload, craving authenticity, and the pull of self-reflection, are the hidden forces behind why you might be avoiding people more as you age. They're not signs you're broken or fading, they're signs you're human, navigating a stage of life the world doesn't prepare you for. You have the power to choose how you move forward. Maybe it's finding one true friend for deep talks, joining a small group that shares your passions, or setting boundaries to protect your energy. You've lived a life full of courage and wisdom. Don't let these psychological shifts steal your connections or your joy. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because they're feeling this too. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and comment below. Tell me one way you'll reconnect with the world on your terms. I'm not just a voice on a screen. I'm here to guide you through this, to help you live a life that's still vibrant, still yours. Let's uncover the next chapter together.